Hey guys, so today I wanted to take a look at the fear of cheating. So I've just done a video on fear of being cheated on, and I thought I would do this one because obviously this comes with its own fears and beliefs and compulsions. So we will take a look at this. Before we move on, as always, please subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. If there are certain topics that you want me to cover, if there are certain beliefs you want me to cover, I can do that as well. And I'll put that in my list of topics that I want to cover in the future. So, yeah, and if you want to come in for one to one coaching calls with us, let us know. You can click the link below in the description. That will take you to a WhatsApp chat, and Phil can guide you there from there on out. And yeah, and get in touch with us. So, I think just with like the fear of being cheated on, I think in a similar way, fear of cheating itself, we do have to recognize and understand what someone's motivations to cheat can be. Because again, when we give a bit more of a complex, in-depth understanding of why certain behaviors happen, it helps take a little bit of the sting out of that, and that visceral response that we're getting, that visceral obsessive response that we're getting, where we have to figure out each and everything, and we're like doing a ton of compulsions and feeling chronically anxious and all that. So having that background like information helps at least just like bring that catastrophic level down a bit, and then we're able to see cheating as something that's realistically unhelpful, right? Instead of seeing it as the absolute worst thing someone can do. And there's a big difference in that, right? Seeing something as practically unhelpful and hurtful versus something that, is just like permanent damage, that it just like ruins life. There's a big difference between those two things, and that's like a change that we are really trying to bring over here. Because again, with acceptance, the biggest misconception is that acceptance means agreement, and and that if I accept cheating, that means I'm making it okay, or I'm justifying it, or I'm thinking, or I'm making excuses for it, or I'm thinking that it's okay if someone cheats and I'll be indifferent to it. No, you won't be indifferent to it, because again, it is real life, and it is something that is, I would say 99% of the time, it causes hurt feelings and people being upset. But does it have to be this like permanent, like emotional damage that you can't ever recover from? Absolutely not. Um, and a good exercise sometimes is also trying to put yourself in another person's shoes who you think may cheat, right? And try seeing what that thought process might be. And I think like a good way to also look at it is that, would there ever be a scenario where you would feel okay cheating as well? Because when we're thinking about like our fears, whatever they may be, we think that they inherently are just a terrible thing and completely inexcusable, and there's absolutely like no room to even see it from any angle with lesser intense emotions, right? And with cheating, it's a very, like, if you really think about it, cheating is a very complex behavior as well. A lot of the times, it's not just as straightforward as someone was indulged in infidelity. It's a lot more. It can be, most of the time. It is a lot more than that, right? Um, and if I take a very extreme example as well, then like, if for instance, and I have known some people like this as well, like people who are in really really bad marriages, right? And they feel like they have no option to leave, or they feel like they're pretty stuck in their circumstances, whatever they may be. And their friends are often trying to encourage them to be like, why don't you leave this person, and things like that, and they're like, no, this and that. And in the meantime, they start fancying someone else, or they start like hanging out with someone that they actually get along with, and we can see that there's something good over there. In those cases, more, I mean, if you think about it, like, again, it's not that this is the right way to do things, but naturally people around them would feel far more accepting of them having other interests outside of the marriage as well. Because it would be like, yeah, their situation is pretty bad, and so I support them wanting to pursue this other connection that they're potentially having outside of the marriage, right? So even if it's like an exceptional case as well, there can be cases where that kind of thing is supported as well, and you can see that it's not as black and white as, oh, cheating is just terrible, and just like completely catastrophic, and there's like I can't live my life if this happens or that happens. There are circumstances where that happens. But with OCD, people come in and they are also in perfectly okay relationships, but the fear is that what if I still cheat? And therefore the fear is that if that pure and simple, it's not something that like the relationship is not bad, it's not extreme, there's nothing bad happening inside the dynamic between two people. However, it's like I then, in fact, that's where the stakes feel higher, because it's like then I'm going to be breaking this person's heart for no good reason. It would be pure and simple me being evil, or me being someone who just lost interest and just wanted to be with someone else, and that's all. And so, even accepting that, because I mean, if you really think about that statement that I just left someone because I had an interest in someone else and I lost interest over here, isn't that human history? Because not all people cheat just because there's something really terrible or sinister happening in their lives. At times it can just be I lost interest and I just want to be with someone else as well. And you can, I mean, there are pros and cons to that. Of course, it causes a lot of problems in people's lives. It causes a lot of like big shifts and fluctuations and ups and downs. So you can go into like all the consequences of having like of cheating or like finding someone else that you got interested in. You can do that, but like, does it make you inherently a bad person? That like, and that it is completely unfathomable that a human being can lose interest in another person and develop interest in another person. Is it completely unfathomable? Absolutely not. We're also very social animals as well, and this is how even friendships work as well. Again, does not make it okay, because there's always better ways of doing things, but just saying that things can lead to a certain place based off of like different circumstances and emotions and feelings that you may not even be able to control, right? Which, by the way, I also want to do a video on having feelings for two people at the same time, because I think that's another big one that a lot of people struggle with as well. But if we go into the fears in this, so of course there's fear of guilt and shame and regret for the rest of your life, because when you think about something like cheating, it's like something is going to be bogging me down for the rest of my life. I won't be able to stop thinking about it. I will always feel bad about myself as a person. It will hinder me in pursuing future relationships, and it's going to, just be this burden that I have to carry for the rest of my life. And we have this image of ourselves just completely like in zombie mode, depressed, like on the verge of like weeping all the time, and just like no motivation, completely looking gray, nothing good in life. So of course that's a very exaggerated kind of image that we get in our mind as well. Then the fear that you will jeopardize potentially the best relationship of your life. Fear of hurting someone's feelings, plain and simple. Fear of self-rejection and fear of other people. Again, it's this thing that firstly, other people might judge me for being someone who cheated on my partner, who was perfectly good for me. But then also that even if people like are okay with it, or they come to a place of understanding, I won't be able to accept myself for this, and living with my own self in my own head and in my own skin would be super uncomfortable. And I can't stand that. So like, I think self-rejection was a really big fear for me, because there were many things where I didn't really care about what other people thought, but I cared about what I thought about myself, because I had certain standards I had placed for myself, and I thought I had to meet them all the time. It's just not the person I am. So with this fear, again, with a lot of different themes, including this, there's a kind of like crisis of identity that we can feel that we're experiencing, because it's like, I'm not the sort of person who cheats. I'm the sort of person who was always a rule follower, decent, guy next door kind of person, always a nice guy, kind to people, laughing, happy, your average guy, average nice guy, right? I am not the sort of person who would cheat, because that's like this big blotch on my track record. And I think that's where people really struggle with it. And it's like, I just cannot be something that I don't believe myself to be. Again, a lot of people do unexpected things in life. Um, People who are considered as really terrible or bad can also end up doing some really good things, and that can surprise us. And perfectly good people can also do things that surprise us in a bad way as well. And we see multiple examples of that in our entire lives. Like, think about someone you really look up to as someone that, oh, I want to be this kind of personality. Have they ever made a mistake that has really surprised you, that you didn't expect them to do it? Because it's like, I expected them to act more mature, I expected them to have more sensibility about this, but like, they've just completely done something that's so unexpected. So I mean, at least I've had examples like that my entire life. So for me, then, I mean, nothing really feels as surprising or shocking. Like, I think I kind of like live by the notion that you can expect anything from anyone at any time, and which would not, and that's not like from a cynical point of view. I think that's more from a realistic point of view, because you never know what someone's motivations in a certain moment can be, or what moment of realization or growth they might even have unexpectedly in a moment, which is also that, because I don't want to be someone who pigeonholes someone as, oh, this person is like terrible or whatever it is, and then anything that they do, for me, that's completely like dismissible. Is that a word? I don't know. It's completely dismissible. I still see it from a cynical lens. I still think, but maybe no, there's some ulterior motive over here. Like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to give someone a chance. If they are showing a different behavior in a good way that they haven't shown before, then why not? Like, and so it helps keeping your mind open to what people can or may do, and not have those strict expectations all the time. And that includes you yourself, because it helps with being more accepting of your own mistakes, and being able to not be so hard on yourself when you do things that like are maybe out of character. The same as people who think of themselves as completely terrible people, right? And sometimes when they do good things, they don't want to do them then, because it's like, oh, I don't deserve good things in life. I'm just someone who is a terrible person and deserves bad things. And that's also coming from a place of, then anything that you do, then you are just like pigeonholing it into something. No, I'm still terrible, and I can't accept something good in my life. So it goes both ways. So being like, you have to have that flexibility in thinking as well. Fear of losing control, again, big one with fear of cheating, because then it's like, I have to be in control of all my inhibitions, my bodily responsive, my intrusive urges, my intrusive images, what I think, what I fantasize about, everything has to be under control. Not being able to trust yourself again, with a fear of self-rejection comes also this fear of not being able to trust yourselves, and this very unstable feeling of not being able to rely on yourself as a person. Because then it's like, if I can't even rely on my own word, how do I even make decisions in life? Because I've done something so bad, something so out of character and unexpected, I don't think I can ever trust myself again. Again, very catastrophic thinking. And again, fear of being in love with two people at the same time. I think this requires like a separate breakdown as well, but big one to break down for a lot of people. What compulsions are involved in this quite often? Avoiding being alone. A lot of people will not want to go out because they don't trust themselves. They think that if they'd be out by themselves and someone attractive walks by, they will feel like they might actually cheat, or they might lose control over themselves, and they might do something that they might regret. So people would not want to be alone, and included in this is then avoiding alcohol as well, because then alcohol becomes that one of that thing, that this is a substance that's going to make me lose control, so I don't want to have it. And then, like, I've spoken to so many people who haven't had a drink in many months, or even like at times a few years, because it's just purely out of, if I have alcohol, then I am 100% going to cheat. Again, just by that notion, you are already installing mistrust in your own self, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that I can't trust myself. If I drink, then I'll lose control, so I won't drink it. And then the fear cycle is perpetuated that way because it's like, something will happen. So, not speaking to other people you might like. So, by other people, what I mean is like whoever you're attracted to, men, women, or whoever, then you don't want to interact with them. People often at times also say that I don't want to speak to like a guy or a girl on DMs too much, or a friend, because like what if I develop feelings for them, and then what if I want to like cheat on my partner with them? Again, you are perpetuating that fear and that insecurity that something bad will happen. It becomes that self-fulfilling loop that this is indeed going to lead to something bad. And then every single time that you're going to come across a story of someone cheating or something like that, it's going to be like, see, they both were alone together, they both were spending a lot of time together, they both were speaking privately quite a lot, and this is what led to this. See, I'm never going to do this. Like, think of how many people are actually interacting with like the with guys and girls on a daily basis. People who are married and in relationships are doing that. I mean, because then by default, what needs to happen is that if you're in a relationship with someone, they need to cut ties with everyone. Like if like they need to cut ties with every single person of that gender that they're attracted to, and they can't ever have a private conversation even on social media in like commenting on each other's stories or whatever it is. They can't be doing that because that's dangerous and makes no sense. And also, I mean, it's also not practical at all. Reassurance and confessing, plain and simple, straightforward. Like we're asking opinions about other. We're asking people for their opinions about cheating. We're also confessing our thoughts to our partner or our friends, even if it's in like a jokey way, ha ha ha. At times, it's like sometimes the thought is not even accompanied with anxiety, but still the thought comes and it's like maybe it's just better if I just talk about it. So again, tracking intimacy, this is another big thing because people are then trying to make sure that they are interested in their partner and they don't ever want anyone else. So they're tracking their intimacy as a sign of I want this person and I'm actually still attracted to them and I actually want them. Saying I love you or other compliments to them compulsively just to like it becomes like a reassurance for you yourself that you are reassuring them that you love them constantly, because it's like if I keep expressing my love for them and keep complimenting them about how great they are, my brain can also maybe learn that I don't want someone else, and my brain can stop giving me ideas about cheating on my partner. So you're essentially trying to then like give yourself that like big dose of reassurance. um Going through old pictures and chats. So with real events, false memory OCD, it kind of overlaps with cheating OCD quite often, and people are going through their like media and memory, and they're like, I need to make sure I didn't say anything. I need to make sure that nothing happened that day. Do any pictures reveal anything? Do any text messages reveal anything? Did I send a message to someone? Massive, massive, massive compulsion that fuels an anxiety cycle in this. Generally not going out. Sometimes people just like stop going out that much at all because they don't, because just the fear of seeing someone else attractive out in public, it just freaks them out. So they don't want to go out. They become pretty much like a bit isolated and they don't engage in social outings and things like that unless very necessary. Um, Avoiding songs that remind you of I don't know, that remind you of cheating, or that give you, or that are about cheating, or even songs that maybe you and your ex used to listen to. Again, goes with that same thing of like, what if I'm in love with two people at the same time? What if I'm still in love with my ex? And I think ex related, like a video on ex related fears, or is like it's a separate topic, and I think I should do that as well. As I'm speaking, I'm realizing I think that should be done as well. But like, so not listening to those songs because it's like it will reignite my feelings for my ex, and I can't have feelings for my ex if like I'm still with my partner. I mean, you can go. Of course, compulsions aren't limited to just this list. There can be so many, but like you also have to then see that what constitutes as cheating, because it's not just straightforward like actual physical intimacy that people consider cheating. Like there are so many different things that everyone has their own definition of cheating. Someone is also like, oh, you flirted with that person, that's cheating. You even thinking about someone is cheating. Like, people can go very extreme with these things as well. And like, I feel like there's no standard rule of what's considered cheating or not, right? And you do, I think, there's also not going to be a certain answer and definitive answer that you will get on this, that this is what cheating is and this is what's considered as bad, and this can't happen, because the goalpost with OCD will keep moving. At first you might think, okay, it's just straightforward, like actual physical, like a kiss or something, that is cheating. But then it's also like, oh, he, I went out with my wedding ring accidentally, I forgot it somewhere. Ooh, that's also cheating. I fantasize about someone else. Ooh, that's cheating. Emotionally, I'm having some crush like feelings for someone else. Ooh, that's cheating. So those are a lot of fears and a lot of beliefs over there, I think, that need to be broken down, because there's a lot of irrationality that comes into play, and there's a big element of control that comes into play, which like let's say you are someone who is in a long-term relationship and you start like just having a crush on someone else, not something you can control. I mean, yes, you may be able to like control not doing anything with them, although then that's another fear. What if I lose control and do something with them? But that's, again, that's a separate fear that needs to be broken down. But generally just saying that even on an emotional level, you can't control then what you feel for someone or what things sparks up. And that's a discomfort that you really have to accept as well, that that can be and is a possibility. Because then people want, like, for people, like, they're the true sign of like undying love is like, I am never able to think about anyone else. I don't have eyes for someone else. I don't ever have an attraction to anyone else. I don't like fantasize about someone else. I don't dream about anyone else. I can't even be fond of some memory that I've had with my ex. I can't even feel fondly towards that, because that's not then me being sincere to my current partner. Really? Think about it. Think about it. But let me know if you have any questions. Would love to answer your questions. And again, more are ROCD videos to come, because I think I haven't done many in a while. So, and this is something that I feel like I can speak about like for hours and hours. So let me know what you think, ask questions, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.